Hello, friends, and welcome back to Next Chapter Woman. Today's conversation is a little different. This isn't a how-to. It's not a list of tips. It's not even a topic I've fully figured out, actually. This is more of a thinking out loud conversation. Lately, I've been asking myself a question. What actually belongs in my next chapter? Now, if you've been around here for a while, you know I've spent a lot of time talking about transitions, the end of things, new beginnings, friendship, independence, technology, travel, purpose, building something meaningful. And for a long time, I thought of those things as separate parts of my life. Relationships belonged in one box. Work belonged in another. Money belonged somewhere else. Travel is its own thing. And technology was definitely its own thing. But recently I've been realizing something. Life doesn't happen in neat little categories. Everything touches everything else. A change in one area affects all the others. And that's especially true when you're standing at the edge of yet another major life transition. For those of you who are new here, the last few years have been a season of enormous change for me. A long marriage ended. I moved. I built a new life. During all that, I started this channel. I met new people. I learned new things. I made decisions I never imagined that I'd be making. And along the way, I discovered something surprising. Independence became part of my identity. Not just something I was doing, but something that I became. I learned how to solve my own problems, make my own decisions, create my own routines, build a life that felt, stable again. And if you've gone through a major life transition, any kind at all, maybe you've experienced this too. At first, independence feels like survival. Then it morphs into confidence. And eventually it becomes part of how you see yourself. I can handle this, and I've got this. And that's where things get interesting. Because there becomes a point, I guess, where independence can become so comfortable that it starts quietly influencing every decision you make, even the decisions that involve connection, even the decisions that involve love, even the decisions that involve building a future with someone else. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, not because I have answers, but because life is asking me new questions. Questions, quite frankly, that I didn't expect. Questions I certainly wasn't asking a few years ago. And here's where I'll share something personal. Recently, I got engaged. Even saying that out loud feels a little surreal. At this stage of life, I don't think either of us expected to find ourselves planning a wedding. Yet, here we are. And while I'm incredibly happy, what surprised me most wasn't the engagement itself. It was the thoughts that followed that, the questions, the adjustments, the realization that another new chapter is beginning. Here's the thing. Getting engaged isn't only about love. It's about home, identity, routines, space. It's about compromise. It's about imagining a future that includes another person in a very practical way. And for me, it also includes another move, which honestly shouldn't surprise me. I've moved or lived in more than 40 or 50 houses in the past. 40 or 50 places. At this point, I may have earned professional status, don't you think? But every move asks the same question. What do you take with you? What do you leave behind? What still fits? What doesn't? And maybe that's the question beneath all major life transitions. Not what are you losing? Not what are you gaining? But what belongs in the next chapter? What values belong there? What relationships belong? What habits belong? What dreams belong? Oh, and what fears need to stay behind? I've started to realize that my next chapter isn't just about relationships, or work, or travel, or technology, or money. It's all of it, because life isn't divided into categories. Life is one story, and each chapter influences the next one. So that's where I find myself today, not at the finish line, not with everything all figured out, just standing at another threshold, grateful, a little surprised, a little excited, a little nervous, and most of all, curious about what comes next. Maybe you're standing in a threshold too. Maybe your next chapter looks completely different from mine, but perhaps you're asking some of the same questions. What still fits? What no longer fits? What doesn't fit anymore? And what actually belongs in the life that you're creating now? I'd love to hear your thoughts. How about telling me in the comments, what's the one thing you're bringing with you into your next chapter? And what's one thing that you're ready to leave behind? Thanks for spending a little time with me today. And until next time, start where you are. And as always, take care and bye for now.